Good morning, day 12 of the mini cut. Today's weight 84.2 kg, which means that yesterday's meal prep was a huge success. So the plan moving forward is to just continue this meal prep for the next couple of days, as I'll still be out for the majority part. My current all-time low for this mini cut is 83.8 kg, so hopefully I will be able to hit another new low within the next couple of days. I'll see you guys at the gym.
What you sipping on and got you talking crazy? Looking at me sideways, always calling at me. Why you acting hard when you feel so fake? Why I keep it real with you, but you try to play? Have you lost your mind? Open up your eyes. Always calling at me. Why you acting like you never let me? I don't disrespect. Don't you disrespect? Love you lost your Until the sky you time I guess we die. Did you know I walked it down to the last of
So yesterday I finally experienced my first sign of hunger. Right, so today I think it's a good opportunity to talk about how to actually deal with hunger during a cut based on my 12 years of experience. But firstly, I would like to start off by saying that during a cut, I actually look forward to being hungry because this just means that my body is actually utilizing all the food, right? So what I tend to want to be feeling is actually hungry before my every meal. But the thing is, we do not want to go to bed hungry, or the hours leading to bed is where most people will start to sneak around the fridge and look for something to eat because they want to satisfy the hunger. So if we can try to eliminate this, right, the chances of sticking to the diet throughout the cut will be higher. Okay, so these are some of the tips that I've learned throughout my years of experience. So number one is to analyze your diet and the food sources that you are choosing, right? So if can, try to switch all those food sources that has a low fat or zero fat alternative, like your milk, your cheeses, and even mayonnaise, this kind. If you can try to switch all this to low fat or non-fat kind of sources, right, it will save you a bunch of calories, which will result you to be able to eat more food with those extra calories that you save. Okay, secondly is to make use of diet sodas. So sometimes when it comes to hunger, it can be a mental thing, right? So I always differentiate hunger between physical hunger and mental hunger, right? So sometimes people they say they're hungry, but actually it's the mental hunger, which means they are craving something, which trigger a hunger response. Okay, so one simple trick that I use to determine whether is it mental hunger or physical hunger is, today if you are really hungry, if I were to give you one big bowl of broccoli or one big bowl of carrot, if you eat the whole bowl without any hesitation, that is real physical hunger. But if you are maybe a bit hesitant, then maybe it's more of a mental hunger, and usually there's something that you crave lah. So when it comes to implementing diet sodas, right, so honestly you do not want to limit any diet sodas, right? So have as much as you need to satisfy maybe your sweet tooth. Okay, so ideally I wish when it comes to hunger, you do not want to be drinking any calories because it's a waste of space, right? So by making this substitution, you are able to satisfy that need and then still saving on the calories. When it comes to minimizing hunger, it's all about saving calories. So the third thing I will do if I am experiencing hunger is to make sure I am consuming as much high volume foods as possible, right? So if you're not sure what kind of food are considered high volume, just Google search and then you see what are the food sources that actually you don't mind switching up, right? So by having more volume in the foods that you eat, it will be able to fill your stomach for longer. And another thing when it comes to food sources, of course, the macronutrients. If you increase your protein is macronutrients that will keep you fuller for longer. So that's another thing that you can try. If let's say whatever diet that you are on right now, you are very happy and you do not want to change anything, okay, then here's what I would do. Firstly, I think most importantly is you want to try to have your last meal ideally no more than 2 hours before your bedtime, because ultimately when it comes to hunger, like I said, most importantly is we don't go to bed hungry. Okay, any time of the day that you are hungry, it's okay, because naturally you still have food to eat, so you are fine, right? So we do not want to end our day with no finishing up our calories and then we go to bed hungry. So one thing you can do is, of course, to delay the meals, right? So ideally you want to start sort of like a fast, okay, but it's not so strict in the sense that you try to delay your meals till the later part of the day. That way you can make sure that your last meal of the day is no more than 2 hours before your bedtime. The next tip is, of course, to stay hydrated, right, with lots of water, right? I recommend maybe about a gallon per day, right? That's what I'm currently on. So ideally after every meal you want to be drinking a nice good glass of water to go along with the meal. So usually I will just fill my shaker bottle, is about 700 ml, right? So I'll have that after my meal and that will keep me full. So There's several other tips that I find that can make me stay fuller. But this is really, I'll say it's personalized for me. You can try it out and let me know. But I find that having larger meals allows me to keep myself fuller compared to smaller, more frequent meals. That means, let's say if I only have 2000 calories, if I really am feeling quite hungry, I will firstly delay my meals to maybe afternoon, and I only have 2 meals. So that 2 meals will be very large meals, like 1000 calorie each. Okay. The thing is, you want to make sure that you are able to hit your protein, right? So likely those meals, let's say if I'm eating 180 grams of protein, each of that meal have to be 90 grams of protein, right? So ideally, if you talk about nutrient optimization, best is to have 3 solid meals. Okay, but if you are really dealing with a hunger that is unbearable, some hunger is good, because what I notice is every time I experience hunger signals, usually this means that my weight will drop the next day. Okay, I mean that I don't know, is it a causation or just a correlation, but that usually happens. So I am actually looking forward to hunger when it comes to a cut, right? But usually the tolerance level has to be around maybe like a 6 to 8 max. Okay, and then maybe below 8 ideally when you go to bed, that kind of thing, right? Or ideally not to even feel hungry. That's why when it comes to this, I noticed that having larger meals will allow me to keep myself fuller lah. So let's say throughout this cut, if I start to experience hunger level that is maybe 8 out of 10 nearing the end of the day, right, then maybe I will look to having just 2 big meals. But as of now, my hunger level is probably still below, maybe at most 6 lah, I would say, for yesterday. So I'll still be sticking to 3 meals, right? But maybe if I can delay some of those meals so that I can eat my last meal at a later timing. So that's all the tips that I can think of at the top of my head, right? So along this journey, as maybe my hunger get worse, then I will be able to implement strategies that get through all these obstacles. Okay, but like I said, hunger is not a bad thing, right? So you can't expect that when we are in a deficit not to feel hungry, right? Because ideally this means that your body is burning up all the food, right? So it's actually a good thing to feel hungry. I don't know why, but it's just a good sign lah. Then it's even better when you see the scale drop tomorrow. Okay, but most importantly is, as long as you are hitting your macros, getting sufficient protein in, then I wouldn't be too worried about the hunger, unless it's affecting your adherence towards the finishing the cut. Okay, so that's all for me. I had to head out real soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 13.